Welcome. It is Eternal Weekend. We are at the Legacy Championships, and we are ready for round 3. That's Bob McAllister on the left of your screen. He's playing the Elf combo deck, leads with a Birchlore Ranger on the first turn, and his opponent is the defending champion. Chris Bergeson won this event at Gen Con last year. Now he's going to try to run it back again now that it's a standalone event. Chris is running the Sneak and Show deck. Got a nice modified volcanic island there.
Beautiful.
He's going to start with the Ponder. Now, how do you expect this matchup to play out?
I would say game 1 is definitely in Chris's favor. The Elves deck is fast, but not as fast as the Sneak and Show deck.
Okay.
And the counter spells of the Sneak and Show deck really give it the advantage in game 1. Elves really no way to interact, no counters, no discard. So it's an uphill battle for Bob for sure.
He did win the die roll. He is playing first. So what is Bob trying to do? Walk me through his plan. How does he set up the sort of combo finish?
Yeah, the list that he's running here is definitely more focused on the Glimpse of Nature combo. So
so Glimpse of Nature means that every creature that he plays, he gets to draw a card. He's got a bunch of cheap elves.
Yep. So you're using Nettle Sentinel, Heritage Druid, and some other mana elves, Birchlore Rangers, etc. Every time you play an elf, you're just fueling additional mana into your combo. Eventually, you might resolve a second or third glimpse, and you're basically drawing your deck into a lethal kill.
Right. So there you see Birchlore Ranger. He can tap 2 elves in order to make a mana, which is exactly what he does. Down comes Wirewood Symbiote. All right, but now he's out of gas for this turn, right?
Yes.
Yep. Ships it back to Bergeson.
Now he's already going to have Natural Order mana up for the next turn, so he's definitely in a good position from a threat standpoint.
Yeah. Now Bergeson and his Sneak and Show deck, I see he's got a Lotus Petal in his hand, so he can potentially accelerate out Show until this turn, but it doesn't look like he's got it. He's still pondering, so setting the deck up.
Yep.
Does not like what he sees on the top of his library, so chooses the reshuffle option off of the Ponder. Now, so Bergeson's deck, basically, he's got 2 different ways to get giant monsters into play. He's got Sneak Attack, he's got Show and Tell.
Yep.
The giant monsters of choice, I'm sure it's 4 Grizzleband, 4 Emrakul.
Absolutely.
I mean, either one of those is capable of hitting the opponent for a ton of damage, and if it's Emrakul, you get to annihilate 6 permanents. If it's Grizzlebrand, you get to draw some cards. So usually takes 2 hits to actually kill your opponent.
Yeah.
But both of those guys facilitate you to just keep going.
Yeah, the scary thing about the deck is its ability to, for example, Show and Tell out the Sneak Attack, put out the Grizzlebrand, draw 14 cards, and just immediately kill you by sticking both of them into play and attacking.
A second Ponder for Bergeson. I think I didn't get a great look at his hand.
No, I mean, I imagine he feels pretty comfortable. The Elves probably needs, having already deployed 3 creatures, he's probably got it, at least another turn before he has too much to worry about.
You think? I mean, Birchlore Ranger, Wirewood Symbiote, the elf that can't kill on turn 3?
He needs to have Glimpse plus probably another couple creatures to be safe. I mean, obviously he has the bounce Visionary, replay Visionary. So he's got the sort of mini setup combo going already where you're replaying Visionary every turn that sets you up for the Natural Order or Glimpse.
Right.
But he also knows his opponent has a Force of Will deck. He's representing potentially, Spell Pierce there with the Petal in play. So
sure. And so McAllister is going to return Visionary to his hand with the Symbiote.
And it looks like he drew Glimpse for the turn.
All right, so we'll see how far McAllister can get. Elves feels like the kind of deck where you go for a while, and if you draw perfect, you get to keep going, but maybe you don't.
The issue is he doesn't have the Nettle Sentinel or the Heritage Druid, and so that's kind of a bottleneck for him for trying to deploy Glimpse. But looks like he's going to go out there.
Yeah, so Glimpse of Nature, if this resolves, he'll get to draw a card every time he plays a creature. He's definitely done the Mother May I know you're playing a permission deck, Mr. Bergeson. Can I have a Glimpse of Nature? Looks like yes. Glimpse resolves. So, and here's the Nettle Sentinel. So the trick with Nettle Sentinel is now whenever he plays a creature, he gets to untap the Nettle Sentinel. And since the Birchlore Ranger lets him tap 2 creatures for mana, now he can draw cards, he can make mana, but not much keep going. He's going to attack for 2. That's not the best of signs here.
Yeah. I think that he may have been expecting a Force or a Spell Pierce there.
Oh, so he was trying to bait permission.
Resolve, yeah. I'm not in love with that. I'm not sure I'm in love with that play. I think he may have been able to get instead of attacking, just get the Visionary down and draw 2, if nothing else.
Well, down came Ancient Tomb, and there's Sneak Attack, and Lotus Petal gets sacked for red. Emrakul is sneaked into play. Gee, how many permanents on the McAllister side of the board? I count 6.
Yep.
Emrakul is annihilate 6, and McAllister's not even going to bother sending him to the graveyard. He is just going to scoop everything up and technically, he was only going down to 4 there, but he is not interested in
he could have
playing out game 1.
Could have put an elf back in his hand there, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to be enough. So.
Yeah, elf really needs kind of critical mass of permanence.
Yep, absolutely.
He was willing to trust that Bergeson was going to find a second creature to deal the last 4 damage at some point.
Yeah.
All right, well, you said you thought Bergeson had the advantage.
I did. I mean, you know, unless Elves really has a great hand and is threatening sort of a turn, and what you'll see sometimes is a turn 3 glimpse that gets countered into like a turn 4 natural order or something like that. He does have Regal Force in his list, so I mean, he has the ability to win off of that.
He's also got the Behemoth, right?
I think he has a 1/1 split. Oh, he's got 2 Behemoths and a Regal Force.
Okay. So he's got a lot of natural order targets.
Yeah, and a War Caller too, which is, you know, if he gets the guy's cradle out, he can just go lethal off of that. So sort of an interesting list.
All right, so you said that Sneak and Show and Bergeson had the advantage in game 1. What happens in game 2? Do the sideboards change things dramatically?
Well, you're going to see Pyroclasm come in out of the Sneak and Show list, which obviously can be devastating.
Pretty good.
That can be devastating. I doubt he's going to change, you know, too much more than that. Vendilion Click, maybe, but doubt it.
Yeah, not a defense grid matchup, not a Blood Moon matchup, not a Red Blast matchup.
On the other side from Elves, though, you're probably going to see a bunch of that discard come in, that Thought Seize and Cabal Therapy. Hopefully lets him buy some time.
Got it.
And hopefully gives him a chance to deploy either a Natural Order or Glimpse of Nature combo.
Yeah, this definitely seems like a sideboard from somebody who knows that he's often the slower combo deck.
Yep.
Right? I mean, Elves has... It's got resilience in that you can often win matchups just by beating down.
Right.
So it's like, against a lot of opponents, they don't know whether to treat you like a combo deck or a beatdown deck, because you can play it either way.
Absolutely.
But you hit a faster combo deck, and now you have to say, all right, I can't afford to race. I'm not going to beat you. I can't race you with beatdown or combo. So.
Correct. Yeah, typically what we see these days is a discard supported by Mindbreak Trap. You still sometimes see like a Thorn of Amethyst. You know, your combo is deploying creatures, so you'll gladly pay 2 for your Glimpse. All the rest of your combo pieces aren't even affected. So don't have that in this case, but those are typically the cards you would see. So
yeah, it makes sense. What does McAllister have instead of that? See Abrupt Decay, not relevant to this matchup.
No, yeah, he's got he has the Elvish Champion. He's got the Progenitus. So I mean, he's actually got 4 Natural Order targets, not including the War Caller, which I don't, you know, is a potential one as well. So he's sort of straddling the line between just being able to beat down more effectively with creatures and sort of being more in on the sort of the combo aspect. So he's straddling the line there. So
makes sense. Only the 2 natural orders, but
yeah.
I mean, it does seem like this is a list that can play in a lot of different ways depending on what he happens to draw or what he thinks is relevant to the matchup.
That's the big appeal out of Elves for me is, you know, it does, unlike a normal combo deck, there aren't a lot of single hoser cards that will defeat you. You have that ability to say, okay, if you shut off this part of my combo, I'm going to Natural Order you. You know, you have a Canonist, I'll Natural Order you. You know, you have a Gaddock, I'll play Glimpse of Nature, and I'll just cast my Craterhoof Behemoth. I'll just cast my War Caller. So, yeah, it's a really nice versatile deck that way.
It also looks good in Han Solo sleeves. Haven't seen those before.
Yeah, the people that like Elves tend to really like Elves, which is cool. You get some people that are really into the deck, and it's really been a viable Legacy deck for probably a couple years, at least since it broke out and extended. It ported right over to Legacy, so
right.
And you have people that have been playing it for years now. So.
Sure.
But I do think
I've actually run into LSV playing this deck in Magic Online.
He's a
He'll
great
put up
example.
the 4-0s.
Yeah, he's a big fan. So, but I think the Pyroclasms are definitely problematic. So, just another trump to add to Sneak and Show's arsenal here.
Yeah, it's a pretty stock Sneak and Show list for Bergeson, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the tops in it, which you don't always see.
1 Vendilion Click.
Yeah, he's not. It looks like he's not playing the. Yeah, it's pretty standard.
He's not looking at your hand. Right?
Yeah,
there's no Gataxian Pro.
He has sort of the updated sideboard that doesn't have Leyline of Sanctity in it, which has been sort of since the last weekend or a couple weekends ago with the Invitational. That was sort of the change that people made.
All right. Well, the players have drawn up their hands. Looks like McAllister is going down to 6 cards.
Yeah, he's cut the. He's actually not playing the probes. It looks like that's how he's made space for like the tops and a couple other cards. He's not playing the Gataxian probes, which are sort of, I would say, sort of standard at this point.
Fair.
But you know, one of the issues the deck has sometimes is, you know, you'll see, okay, I'll sneak attack out an Emrakul and attack you. I still need to win the game somehow.
Right.
So having, you know, tops in the list sort of gives you a permanent card that can sort of let you continue to dig after that, and you know, kind of makes sense to me. So
yeah, 7 fetch lands, so plenty of reshuffle.
And you got your ponders. Yep.
Is that the deck you think is best position coming into this weekend then?
I'd say,
I know it's the one that has done the best in the last month or so of big legacy events.
It's certainly the hot deck. I would say it's probably the one that people are most gunning for. I think it's in the sort of the top dog position right now.
Which is probably a bad thing though, right?
Well, I mean,
with what, 20 viable decks, it seems like the unexpected one. You can't have sideboard space for everything, but I think everybody is going to have sideboard cards for Sneak and Show.
You also get that sort of awkward, maybe diminishing returns of that mirror match being so awkward. So
McAllister looking at a 6-card hand.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem entirely happy with it.
No.
Reaches for the deck. Yeah, he's going to keep it.
He's going to keep it. No turn 1 play though.
Scalding Tarn for Bergeson. Looks like he's got Spell Pierce. I see Grizzlebrand and Emrakul, if I'm not mistaken.
Force of Will.
Yeah. So he needs a way to cheat one of those into play, but he's unlikely to get killed quickly.
Right. I think he's perfectly happy seeing no turn 1 play, knowing that he's got a hand that can definitely shut down Natural Order and Glimpse of Nature. So
McAllister plays his Savannah, taps his Forest. Crop rotation?
Crop rotation.
He sacks the land as part of the cost, so that Forest has gone one way or the other. It seems like a juicy Spell Pierce target to me.
Yeah, I am in agreement.
I mean, he's already mulligans. It seems like you 2-for-1 him with that Spell Pierce.
Yeah. He's thinking it over.
And cracking the Scalding Tarn, so
I think
probably is going to pierce.
Yeah, I think knowing that he had no turn 1 play, I think he got a Spell Pierce there for sure. It's going to set him even farther back.
Yeah, I agree. It's not, I mean, what was... I'm not even sure what the land is that's super scary. It's more the 2-for-1 here. I mean, crop rotation for Gaze Cradle can be really good out of the Elf deck, but not with no creatures.
Yeah, he may have just been going for Dryad Arbor to get a guy out.
Oh, interesting. All right, well, Spell Pierce resolved, and here's Deathrite Chamber. It's another reason to crop rotate, get some food into the graveyard.
Yep.
That's an Ancient Tomb.
Wow. Some very nice cards on his side of the table. Some great altars there.
You have to have altars to win one of these events, right?
That's it. Certainly doesn't hurt. So the Ancient Tomb is a scary play.
Yeah. All right. Shaman makes a mana. Here's Cabal Therapy.
Yeah, so he may have been going for the Dryad Arbor to set up the Cabal Therapy and then the flashback.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that probably is what he would get. So, I mean, I don't think Bergeson wants to force this. I don't think he's got counter magic other than Force of Will right now.
No, and I mean, I think his hand might be such that, you know, you may see a whiff on the initial call.
Right.
And then it's just the flashback that you're worried about.
Well, the fact that I think you call Force of Will. I don't know what he called. Do we know what he called? I don't think we have the ability to get that information from the floor, do we? He said Sneak Attack.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume, so this, he didn't
he had a Spell Pierce and he chose not to use it.
Yeah, because he didn't show and tell, right? So I think you assume he doesn't have that. So off the Ancient Tomb, I think the concern is Sneak Attack. That's, you know, so
fair.
I think it's probably reasonable to let it resolve because you're guessing he's going to whiff. Now you have the Spell Pierce if you want on the flashback, which puts you in a decent position.
It's true. Yeah, he can Spell Pierce the flashback and still have Force of Will.
Yeah, I mean, he has a great hand for sort of playing the long game. He's probably a Brainstorm or Ponder away from things getting pretty scary. He is jammed on lands, though.
True. Now, if you're McAllister, you do not flashback here? I mean, do you need to plow through that Spell Pierce at some point? Quirion Ranger seems like a good
Quirion's
plan.
a great play.
So now Quirion Ranger lets him pick up a forest to untap a creature, so he hasn't played his land for the turn. He can actually replay the Savannah, and he's got Deathrite available. So Quirion Ranger definitely gives you a lot more mana.
Yeah, the scary thing about the Elves deck is, you know, he's like a heritage away from, well, he's going to play it now.
Wow. So that's Glimpse of Nature, right?
Yeah. With 1 card in hand.
1 card in hand? He's trying to bait the Spell Pierce, is what he's trying to do.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Do you take the bait if you're Bergeson?
I doubt it.
No, like, what does this glimpse do? There's one card in his hand. He might get to play, if that's a 1-mana elf, then he's going to get to cantrip off of it.
He may counter it just knowing what the rest of his hand is. Yeah,
he is going to spell
just
pierce.
in the off chance that things went way off the rails off of that.
Okay, and it was a Nettle Sentinel.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the nightmare scenario there is that card is a Heritage Druid, and it draws on the card and turns on, 3 mana right away, and maybe he's off and running from there. So.
All right. So what's going on?
Just gonna check out
exactly
what these elves do.
And there's not particularly a Nettle Sentinel combo on McAllister's side yet, right?
No.
He needs to come up with Bergeson Ranger or Heritage Druid.
Yeah, I mean, he's threatening 4 damage a turn already. Which, with Ancient Tomb out is not the worst place in the world to be. And even without green spells, he's got untapped Score on his Nettle Sentinel with the Quirion, so...
Yeah, you attack. This is a beatdown. It's actually 5 a turn with the Shaman, right?
Yes.
You're not going to attack with that guy.
Correct.
Although, does he need
his
black
mana
mana?
situation
He doesn't have any black mana.
Yeah, his mana situation's a little awkward. Well, he can do it. He
can use Quirion Ranger.
Yeah.
Shaman to... There's no lands left in the graveyard right now. It is true that Bergeson's draw, he's got 3 fatties without an enabler. He's got permission. He needs to draw something. Like, he's actually on the hook. He's got several turns to do it. But McAllister could win this game by just attacking. I mean, that's... We talked about how the elf deck can play either way.
Yep.
Oh, looks like McAllister may have drawn a relevant card.
He just looks like he's untapping to replay his land.
Yeah. Untap Sentinel, replay Savannah.
Yep.
All the Quirion Ranger. Bergeson taps his Ancient Tomb, takes 2. This looks like Intuition.
Here he has a repeal.
He's a repeal. So he can bounce a permanent with CMC 2 or less. He has chosen Nettle Sentinel. And he gets to draw a card. So Bergeson's basically took 2 in order to not take 2 from Nettle Sentinel next turn and cycle a card. I think he drew a fetch land.
He did.
But yeah, he needs a way to get those giant monsters out of his hand and onto the table. And a basic mountain. So he drew 2 lands. The repeal card and the draw phase gave him 2 lanes, which is useful.
Yeah, I mean,
certainly sneak attack is now a win.
He's a sneak attack away from this game being over.
But on the hook to draw something.
And that damage is going to add up with that Ancient Tomb. And, if you're going to use that Force of Will...
Yeah, he's lucky there's no black man on McAllister's side of the table.
Absolutely.
Deathrite Shaman is a little bit neutered here.
Looks like he has a fetch land.
McAllister does?
Yeah.
All right. Well, he replaced the Nettle Sentinel. That's the one Bergeson knew about. We're going to Force a Will. Wow.
Interesting.
Burns through the Force of Will. I mean, I think he's got to keep that 2/2 off the board.
Keep that 2 damage off turn
He's
off.
essentially buying himself draw phases. Figures the elf deck can't really combo off. He doesn't have to save it for some, crucial glimpse or...
The scary thing about the elf deck, though, is he's one guy's cradle away, really, from being able to natural order. So it's...
Right. He also needs the natural order.
Well, for sure.
I mean, that's the thing the Force of Will could have been saved for.
Right.
Bergeson just wants to buy himself draw phases.
So here's the black mana available now from Bob's side. So again, that damage is gonna start to add up.
So we're in Bergeson's end step. McAllister cracks his fetch land to go for Bayou. We expect him to tap the Bayou for black mana and use Deathrite Shaman to deal 2 damage.
Yeah, Deathrite Shaman's been a huge addition to this format. I mean, you see it all over the place, from Elves to Bug to John. Just a very popular, very powerful, flexible, one mana creature.
True.
mean, this is a deck that would have been playing probably 6 Llanowar Elves.
Right, that guy could be
Elves.
Llanowar Elf.
Yeah, and what an upgrade, right? From to go to Deathrite Shaman. So
not bad. There's the guy's cradle.
There's the cradle.
So he's up to a lot of mana.
So we've got 3 mana.
This is the last card out of his hand.
This is an Elvish Archdruid. So that's going to add 2 damage to his attack this turn immediately and significantly up his overall mana capabilities. I mean, next turn, he's got a scary amount of mana sitting on his side of the table if this resolves. Because you've got the Guy's Cradle, the Archdruid, and then untap on the Archdruid off the Quirion Ranger. I mean, so now you're talking about hard casting Crater Elf Behemoth if he top decks that.
Right, he does have to top deck, but Bergeson doesn't seem like he wants to give him that option.
Yeah.
So he cracks fetch land for another Volcanic. I think we're going to see a hard cast Force of Will here.
Agreed. I think that Archdruid's going to add too much damage to his side of the table.
Yeah, and Force of Will feels a lot better when you're not pitching a card.
He's going to take 2
He does
to
take,
do this.
Yeah, he takes the 2 from the Ancient Tomb, but... Alright, full price Force of Will. Bergeson drops to 9 from the Ancient Tomb. No Archdruid for you. Still a relatively quick clock. Plenty of food for the Shaman, so... Oh, it's 7 from the Ancient Tomb.
Wow.
But he attacks. Oh, he can untap with Quirion Ranger.
Yeah,
wow, yeah, he can. Crazy. Right, Quirion Ranger will allow him to untap the Deathrite Shaman and still use the ability.
Correct.
So tap for black mana. Pick it up to untap that. Use the black mana. Hit you for 2 more.
Yeah, he is running out of time here.
He's out of time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, he's
attack with Quirion and Shaman you.
He looks.
I don't know what the trick would be. Bergeson falls to 1. Untap Shaman. There you go. He reveals a 10. I got 2 pair. I got a pair of Emrakul's. I got a pair of Grizzled Brands.
Wow.
These guys are enormous. These should win me the game, right?
Yeah, just couldn't find one of his tops or a Brainstorm Ponder to get the sneak attack he needed there.
Yeah, 4 sneak attacks, 4 show and tells. You got to find one of them. And a couple through the breaches in the sideboard. He spins through his sideboard. I don't think he sideboarded out any of those. Did not bring in the through the breach. They're still on the board.
Yeah, they're I think more of a mirror. They're
right. It's for the mirror. It's when you want to get one of those guys into play without playing show and tell.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, exactly what you said happened there. The ability of Elves. So, okay, you countered my combo pieces, but these guys, deal 1, 2 damage, starts to add up, and when you're an Ancient Tomb Force of Will deck, before you know it, that life on your side's just dwindled to nothing. So
Bergeson is going to tweak 1 card from his sideboarding plan. It was a blue card for a blue card. I didn't see what they were. Bergeson will get to play first. Yeah, that was definitely a lesson in the resiliency of the Elf deck.
You could see in that game, though, how at any time, not only just a sneak attack, but those pyroclasms that he brought in.
Oh, wow.
I would have just, crushed his side of the board. So
indeed.
Well, we talked about the Cabal therapies and how important those are. They didn't play a huge role there, really, just because Chris's hand was sort of unfortunately awkward, was sort of missing pieces he needed, but that's really what's going to give Bob the chance to kind of stay in the game past the first few turns, as you're sort of hoping to spike out that sneak attack or show and tell and get some damage in, and hopefully things go your way.
He never even bothered to flashback the therapy, right?
No, his hand was just sort of too awkward. He said, I'll just grind your counterspells out of your hand, let you take the damage from Force of Wills, and Chris was really playing off the top of his deck there, and unfortunately...
Cabal therapy doesn't do much about the top of the deck.
No. That is, one of the, as versatile and as much as I love Elves, not having the blue component to the deck and relying on discard, you really are playing off the top. So... You do get those mind break traps occasionally will blow out a sort of unsuspecting Storm player, but...
I see Sneak Attack, Lotus Petal.
Is that Pyroclasm?
I think so. Some land. It's a pretty solid draw. I don't think there's a fatty in there.
I don't see one.
But still a fine keep.
The Pyroclasm alone makes it...
Right. It gives you a lot of time to draw the fatty. Bergeson thinking about this?
Yeah, because I think the issue is I don't know that he has like a Ponder or a Brainstorm.
No, okay. He's
going to keep
We're on turn 1.
Oh, he's got a top, so there you go. Yeah, that hand looks pretty good.
Bob cracks fetch land.
Yeah, no wastelands from Sneak and Show, so no reason not to get the Bayou there.
Right.
Looks like he may have a Heritage Druid.
Cabal Therapy. Did we hear what he named? Oh, it hasn't resolved yet, so you name one resolution. I'm sure it's going to resolve. I can't imagine forcing it.
No. Yeah.
Show and Tell was the card. And he sees Ancient Tomb, Mountain, Pyroclasm, Petal, Sneak Attack. Last game he named Sneak Attack. So swing and a miss from the Therapy, but he gets to see that hand, and he gets to see there's a Pyroclasm and there's a Sneak Attack.
Yeah, you got to pick your poison here, unfortunately.
And Sneak Attack can get played next turn. He can go Lotus Petal, Ancient Tomb, Sneak Attack. The card's safer on the table than it is in his hand. That's the play here, right? If you're Chris Bergeson, yeah, get it on the table. Get it out of the reach of a Cabal Therapy.
Now with that top, things are going to get scary in a hurry.
Right. Yeah, I like that play.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of people don't like to play the Sneak Attack until they can activate it, but versus a Cabal Therapy deck, it's not like I don't even think he has enchantment removal.
He doesn't really have. I don't think he really has any way to handle it once it's out. There are elf decks that do, but it looks like unfortunately he may not. So
now they don't know the lists, so Bergeson is speculating. But
yeah, I think that's the right.
He does know there's a Cabal Therapy in the graveyard that can be any creature can be sacrificed to run it back,
and it's more than likely Bob's got a handful of little green men. So
exactly. All right, so Quirion Raintrick resolves. Bayou gets picked back up and replayed. There was no creature to bother untapping, but this way McAllister gets to use his land drop to make a mana, which he uses for... Is that Heritage Druid?
It is Heritage Druid. So now the question here is he going to take that Pyroclasm away? Or is he just going to... Oh, I don't know.
You gotta...
Pyroclasm puts him...
Yeah, you gotta flashback Therapy and get rid of the Pyroclasm.
Because the way the rest of his hand looks, he's got a decent chance to actually deploy next turn, depending on what he draws. So he's just got
to... that the draw phase was a fetch land.
That's rough. He's got the top plus the fetch.
Yep. I mean, could have been worse.
It could have.
It could have been Emrakul.
Absolutely.
But yeah, fetch land. So top reveals fetch land, a blue card. I didn't see. Is that Grizzlebrand? It is Grizzlebrand.
Oh boy.
So probably fetch land to reshuffle and get a red source. Not bad.
No, not bad at all.
Certainly expect a volcanic island to come out here. Show off one of those altars.
Oh, for sure. You don't just get a...
You don't get a normal... I don't think he has a normal volcanic. I think they all look like that. So although certainly, if there's like a white bordered volcanic, he would be hiding.
He's going right past it.
Don't think there is.
So, if there's anyone watching that has not been watching Legacy since Grizzlebrand came out,
right?
This is your chance to sort of see, one of the most format warping cards that we've seen in the last year for Legacy.
So activate Sneak Attack for red mana. Grizzlebrand comes into play. Immediately, he's going to draw 7 cards by paying 7 life. He's also going to get to attack with Grizzlebrand. Now, he doesn't get to kill him this turn unless he draws a Lotus Petal, because he's already used his land drop for the turn. So getting another red mana for Sneak Attack is possible but unlikely. Basically drawing toward 3 Lotus Petals if he wants to activate Sneak Attack a second time, but
it's just
seems unlikely that
Agreed.
Bob can kill him next turn, so he's probably going to be content to smash with Grizzlebrand. Well, he's going to draw 7 more first. There's Emrakul. Lotus Petal? Did not see a Lotus Petal. Yeah, so he is all set up. So attack for 7. You're at 12. Bergeson does gain 7 life off the lifelink ability, so he's back up to 10. And now he's got a discard.
And he's got the Force of Will.
Right.
So
he's got Force of Will. He's got Emrakul. He gets to defend himself to whatever McAllister's going to do. He gets to pick the perfect hand to 7. And so, I mean, Grizzlebrand technically didn't kill him. Technically, Emrakul is going to get to be the glory, but Grizzlebrand did all the heavy lifting here.
He only drew 14 cards off of it, so standard day at the office for Grizzlebrand.
Give you 14 cards and somebody else gets credit for the kill.
The tough life of being Grizzlebrand.
I mean, I guess he only has 1 Force of Will. I can't imagine that's not good enough, though.
No, yeah, I think this. I think that's going to do it. But
all right, here are my discards. And passes the turn back to McAllister.
Right, so let's see what he can.
He did slog through the Pyroclasm. It's a Cabal Therapy. Does not suck. Now what? You let the first one resolve and then force the flashback?
Yeah.
Well, he's going to force the first one. That way McAllister doesn't have enough information, and then hope he whiffs here. I mean, McAllister's got a flashback therapy and hope.
Yeah.
I mean, Emrakul is the right thing to name, but we only know that because we've seen Bergeson's hand. So I mean, with no information, if you're McAllister, Emrakul's still probably the best guess?
Yeah, so he's going to get in there for his 1.
Wow. Hits the 2 Emrakuls.
Wow.
Correctly names Emrakul, and now, all of a sudden...
So he still has Brainstorm and a top.
Right. Those Emrakuls get shuffled back in. Emrakul has the ability that when he goes to the graveyard, he actually gets shuffled back in. That Cabal Therapy is removed from the game.
There it goes.
Wow. McAllister might live.
So now with his Mighty Bayou, he's just staring down a top and a sneak attack.
And a freshly
whatever
shuffled
remnants
library.
are left from
freshly
from
shuffled library. So what is the other blue card? It was a Show and Tell, a backup sneak attack, and an altered blue
Brainstorm.
card. Brainstorm.
I think it was an altered Brainstorm. Or just an alternate art Brainstorm.
Alright, down comes second Bayou and Deathrite Shaman. Alright, McAllister, that's a great turn for him.
Yeah, it really was.
He's been hit by Grizzlebrand. He's... there's Emrakul.
Okay, well,
that'll do
it was nice playing with you.
I'll just show you. I've got it. You're going to make me go through the motions? Alright, fine. I'll go through the motions. Yeah, Bergeson showed him the Emrakul. McAllister wants him to actually kill him. Which is perfectly fine. It's like, can't imagine what you have. I will just activate Sneak Attack. Play this Emrakul. And yeah, I promise to attack.
Yeah, he's just giving him a hard time there. There's no stopping the Emrakul.
All right, so Chris Bergeson, defending Legacy Champion. He won this event at Gen Con in 2012, and he's still 2-1, so still in contention to defend his championship.
Yep.
Second loss from McAllister, can't feel good.
No. I mean, you know, this sneak and show deck really is the deck to watch. I think for this tournament,
I think we're going to see a lot of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now here we are at the other feature match for the round. So this is Game 3 between Josh Ravitz and Rob Long. Kind of both Stoneforge Mystic decks. As you can see, both players actually have Batterskull in play. So
very similar plans going on right here.
Yeah, I don't think these are exactly the same deck list.
No.
I see Lingering Souls actually hanging out on the wrong side of the board. But that's Josh Ravitz on the right, I believe?
I think he's on the left.
Oh, Josh on the left. Josh on the left.
Yeah, he has to feel favored. He has more black border dual lands than his opponent, so...
That is a good sign.
That's usually a confidence booster there.
Yeah, those are not just the foreign black border duels either. Those look like betas. All right, so tell me about Josh's deck. This is basically Esper Stoneblade?
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, he's got the Stoneforge Mystic, the Clicks and Snapcasters. You see 1 Lingering Souls, the equipment package. He's got 6 Planeswalkers. You know, this is sort of a
3 Jace the Mind Sculptor,
2 Lilianas, and 1 Elspeth. So it's sort of a powerful kind of grindy equipment deck. You know, the Planeswalkers kind of going over the top. It's a strategy that's been around for a while and has been very successful in some big tournaments.
Yeah, definitely trying to be the control deck relative to the rest of the field, right?
Yep.
He's got 4 Swords to Plowshares in his main deck. He's got 4 Soil.
Yep.
So
Thoughtseize, Inquisition.
Yeah, both counter
Stalkers.
magic and hand destruction.
Yep.
All right, now contrast that with Long's deck. How different is it?
Well, he's got 2 Geist and 3 Baleful Strix.
So he's a little more aggro.
Yeah, so he's got a Flusterstorm, but he's got a lot of the same stuff going on. For the Stoneforge, the 4 Swords of Plowshares, the Brainstorms, 4 Force of Will, less Planeswalkers, which, you know, in a longer game, I think you have to favor the deck that's got the more Planeswalkers.
Sure.
So he has 2 Jace, you know, versus the package of 6 Planeswalkers from Josh. So
pretty close to a mirror match then.
Yeah.
It's really Esper Control versus Esper Control.
Absolutely.
All right, so they're in game 3. Both players are 2-0 to this point. So the winner's going to be feeling pretty good. Loser's still in contention. Looks like I think those life totals are for this game. Yes. 19-10.
It's like some germ tokens.
Germ on germ violence.
Yeah, this is just a very sort of equal board state right now.
Right. 2 cards in Josh's hand. Oh, he's clicking the draw phase.
Flashing in the click.
Right, so he let Long draw his card during his draw phase. Now he's going to play Vendilion Click. He wanted to see as many of Rob's cards as possible so he could decide whether to send one to the bottom. I believe Rob Long is currently deciding whether to let that happen or whether he might respond.
Yeah, perhaps respond with Brainstorm.
Yeah, I think I see a Brainstorm there. So he can, in theory, hide the good cards from the click.
He is flashing in. Is that a Notion Thief?
Wow.
So he has 2 Notion Thieves in his sideboard. Had one in hand there and is flashing it in.
So then click resolves and Josh said, okay, you can keep those.
The Creeping Tar Pit there is actually, that is a great card to have in this board state.
Sure, so Notion Thief, 4 mana flash. If an opponent would draw a card, except the first one he or she draws in each of his draw steps, instead that player skips that draw and you get it.
Yep.
So I think he was hoping to ambush a Brainstorm or some other sort of card drawing.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the Vendilion Clicks that Josh has, so it gives him sort of another way to sort of flash in a guy. And obviously with, you know, Jace and Brainstorms, there's a lot of value to having a Notion Thief in your deck. Living the Dream is, you know, the Grizzlebrand activation or something along those lines. But.
All right, Engineered Explosives for Josh.
Josh with a big life advantage here.
Right, so the click picked up the Batterskull.
That is a scary thing.
Notion Thief has picked up Batterskull on the other side and attacks. Do you trade click for Notion Thief here?
I doubt it. Yeah, he's going
flying does seem like a relevant ability. But yeah, he decides to trade.
Yeah, I mean, he's ahead on life. He's got the explosives out.
Vindicate.
So he drew Vindicate for the turn. I think that Volcanic Island, I'm guessing, is just there for his Engineered Explosives.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any other purpose for it, but certainly a good purpose.
Yeah, I mean, you figure out how many basics you need, and at that point, he does 2 islands, 1 plains, 1 swamp.
Yeah, I mean, with the format, the Legacy format being the way it is right now.
5 mana Stoneforge picks up the Batterskull and attacks.
These are sort of 2 of the more controlling type of decks. I mean, again, they're very similar, but You know, in the past, that sort of counterbalance control where you saw sort of a full-on control with that, or like a land still deck, this type of control is really a lot more common, a lot more popular, just the way the format is right now.
All right. Kind of like the line Josh Ravitz has taken here by choosing to trade creatures. Effectively, he's trading creatures, but then he always gets in his one hit. Like, he's attacking first. He's getting in damage to Rob's life total and gaining some life.
Yeah.
And then on the crackback, he's trading off creatures.
Yeah, I mean, that 42 to 9 life advantage that is a steep hill to climb.
Long's going to cast a Brainstorm. Caracas, land, a swamp, and fetch land, I think, were the draws.
Yeah, it's not too exciting.
At least he has a fetch to shuffle away the ones he doesn't want, which I think were a couple lands. It's not really the Caracas matchup.
No.
Alright, plays his fetch land.
And Josh can get great value out of his Caracas no matter what, because he's got the Vendilion click. But I don't know that on the other side. Oh, he has the Geist, I suppose.
Inquisition of Kozilek. That's going to take away...
Either or, I suppose.
Yeah, what do you take here? Do you take Vindicate or do you take Vendilion Click?
They're both bad.
Yes.
Yeah, they're both really bad.
He goes for the Vindicate. That makes sense. I don't think he can afford to lose that Batterskull.
No. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, we've got after round 3 sort of 2 similar Esper decks. You know, the bug decks that became very popular were sort of a response to this sort of strategy. They could kind of outgrind the Esper deck. Baleful Strix being one of the cards that they play, but sort of having the Ancestral Visions, having the Cascade cards, having all of those, the Hymn to Torox. That deck being a little bit on the downswing maybe gives this strategy a chance to sort of come back today and be successful.
How many counters are on the Engineered Explosives? Zero. All right, Stoneforge Mystic picks up Batterskull.
So that gives him the ability to, I guess, control germs.
Yeah. Attack here, right?
Yep.
Trades off the Baleful Strix.
The Baleful Strix living its dream life there, just drawing a card and blocking and killing a creature. That's what it was made for. And there comes the click.
Once again, it was during draw phase. Oh, Lingering Souls.
So again, he just, I think, says, that's fine.
Yep. Time to make some flyers, right?
Let's make some tokens.
Lingering Souls.
Oh, he's gonna equip the Batterskull, it looks like. Well, yeah, I guess looking at what his life total was, he's sort of in this awkward, this is really like an awkward death spiral kind of that he's trapped in here. Where
right, Batterskull gets picked up by a flying creature. It's gonna get in for some damage.
He's like obligated to crack back to keep his life up,
right,
but he's just behind. He's just behind it. Oh man.
Hello, Jace the Mind Sculptor. Brainstorms.
Yeah, let's just
land,
see 3
lands.
cards. Oh, looks like was that an Academy Ruins? So now that's a scary card because he's going to be able to set up recursion on his Engineered Explosives.
Sure.
And I mean, obviously he's already far ahead, but that's really going to make life difficult for him.
Oh, he's far ahead on life. He's only sort of slightly ahead on the board.
Well, when the Jace came down,
yeah, I guess he's far ahead on the board now too.
Jace just does everything in this matchup. I mean, he does everything, period.
Josh can't block the Stoneforge Mystic, though, right?
No, but
mean, doesn't Stoneforge Mystic just die to... Or kill Jace here? Am I missing something? Tar Pit's coming in for extra, make sure.
Yeah, he could Tar Pit the Jason.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, right. The Jace.
Yeah, Jace is always dying to Tar Pit. And now down comes Geist of St. Traft.
I mean, I guess the benefit to doing that is, you know, you're forcing him to put the mana into the Tar Pit at least,
right?
Versus just letting him free roll.
So I mean, and you break even on cards,
Yeah.
so you get the brainstorm, and it's a brainstorm reshuffle.
Players, that is time in the round.
But yeah, Jace does not get to take over that board.
No. Yeah. So.
3-minute time extension, and was that time just called on the round? So these players now have 3 minutes. Everybody else in the room is on to their extra turns. All right, Batterskull in the air.
Here comes a very scary Vendilion Click.
Still got the Batterskull on the other side, though. I mean, Josh is in no danger of dying. I mean, I can't imagine him getting a loss here, but draw seems very much in play.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to avoid.
I mean, if they had infinite time, then I think that Engineered Explosives Recursion would have time to
take over the game.
To take over the game, but not sure that we have that much time left.
Yeah, agreed. And that is one of the dangers with playing this type of deck. You know,
well, you're not expecting to run into the mirror match very often.
No.
I mean, not a strict mirror, but
there are
strategic mirror.
Yeah, there are enough decks sort of, and that's one of the great things about Legacy is whatever deck, strategy, archetype, whatever it is that you like, there's probably some competitive version of it in Legacy.
Fair.
So I want to play a deck with no lands. You can do that. I want to play a deck with one land. I want to play a deck that's pretty much all lands. It doesn't. Legacy has all of that stuff. But unfortunately, the decks are also really good, so when you get two that are sort of strategically similar, like this, with the life gain capabilities and everything else, you could find yourself in this type of situation.
All right, well, Rob moves the Batterskull over to Geist of St. Traft. That way it can't be blocked and killed, and attacks. So Geist is going to hang around, and now wearing a Batterskull. Josh does, of course, block the 4/4 Angel token. Does Rob have anything else? He can Lingering Souls here, make a couple flyers. I mean, the Engineered Explosives does control these flyers too. 0 counters on that Engineered Explosive, so...
So do you think that either of these decks might have benefited from one of those new Commander cards that are so popular this
True Name Nemesis could cut through all of this blocking shenanigans? Quite possibly.
You know, so it's not like the Geist is not doing his job here, but...
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. So Rob did play Lingering Souls. Josh immediately blew up the 2 tokens so that he could get through to Rob with his click. Now Brainstorm. Is it a plow?
It looked like
maybe
another...
Or was it a Mystic?
I think it's a Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, it is Stoneforge Mystic. All right, does Josh have a line to actually deal those last 6 points? Oh, it was a Ponder, not a Brainstorm. That's fine. So Ponder drew the Mystic. Now he's going to shuffle off the Mystic.
Yeah, there's the
Umezawa Jite. Yeah, it definitely seems like Josh would win this game if they had infinite time.
Absolutely.
But those last 6 points are going to be tough.
Yeah.
There can't be much time. Is that the judge saying they're in extra turns? Feels like it's been about 3 minutes since we heard the 3-minute warning. All right. Yeah, they're on turns now. So I believe that was turn 0, I'm guessing. This is now turn 1. So Josh has only got 2 turns left. He gets the 2nd and 4th of the 5 extra turns.
That Jite is going to be potentially huge here.
Inquisition, Josh flashes whatever his last card is. Now Rob's looking at it. I mean, clearly he should attack with Geist. Well, that's funny. Attacking with Geist creates Jite tokens here, doesn't it?
That's the issue.
But he gains life. If he doesn't attack, then he's going to die in 2 attacks. Well, if he doesn't attack, he can flashback Lingering Souls and have 2 potential blockers, and there's no counters on the Jite yet.
Yeah, so that looks like the line he might be going with here. But Josh can just get his EE back, right? He can clear that out on his turn if he wishes.
So
right?
you're expecting him to upkeep. Oh, I'm not sure Rob Long sees the play. Upkeep.
Yeah, he's going to bring back the explosives.
Go get engineered explosives.
And just sweep that
draw
away.
engineered explosives.
It,
play
yeah.
it for 0. Activate it. Blow it up.
Yeah,
now I can
is.
crack for the win in the air. And there is the game.
Is.
Josh Ravitz in
Wow.
extra turns.
Wow.
Moves himself to 3-0. Wow.
Very impressive.
Rob Long just didn't see the play,
Yeah,
right? He didn't see
yeah.
the engineering explosives recursion we're talking about.